Thank you for holding, everybody. We're now joined with Dennis Franchione, the head coach of Texas State University. If you have a question for Coach Fran, please dial *1 on your phone at this time. Coach, while we're in for questions again in the queue, would you mind starting us off with an opening statement?
Open week was good to us in a lot of ways, emotionally, mentally, physically, I think. We're heading into a tough 3-game stretch, 2 out of the 3 on the road, and playing good football teams. That'll be big challenges for us. So open week gave us a chance to get refreshed as we go into this home stretch and get ready for what's ahead of us in November.
Thank you, Coach. Our first questions come from Columbia, Missouri. Caller, please identify yourself and go ahead.
Morning, Coach. It's Troy Schulte with the Democrat Gazette in Little Rock. How are you?
Good.
Hey, in year 1 of you guys in the league, you guys are bowl eligible already. I mean, are you guys a bit ahead of where maybe you thought you could be here first year in the league and everything?
Well, I think, we set goals to do things like this, but realistically, it's happening, or it's happened probably a little faster than I think we could have projected. I've kind of said all the way through this move up that it's a process, and I wasn't rebuilt programs, but never rebuilt and moved up a level at the same time, and so how many steps were in this process are still a little hard to define, but we've taken a pretty big step in getting to be bowl eligible in our second year.
Yeah. When you got there 2 years ago, I mean, I imagine you set out some sort of specific timeline as far as how long it would take to get this point. I mean, how long did you think it would take, and just kind of what you think was realistic, and what did you think you wanted, I guess, in that respect?
Well, I don't think I set out a timeline to do this.
Yeah, okay.
I hoped it would happen in my tenure here, and but this was not an easy process to define and identify. Having the part of inheriting a 4-7 team, only having about 45, 50 guys on scholarship that had played FCS football, rebuilding a roster, moving up, playing now in our 3rd conference in 3 years. It would have taken a real visionary to be able to define the whens and hows completely on it. But it has. I do think it is safe to say that's probably happened as quick as it could have happened.
Yeah. When you talk about the difficulties of it, you mentioned the scholarships. Is that the most difficult part? I mean, like you said, when you got there and you guys are FCS, you've got about 60 guys on scholarship, and now you're dealing with 85, I guess. Is that the toughest part of it, I guess?
Yes, I think that's probably the biggest thing. And you really don't have 60 because you lost a senior class, so you're probably sitting at 45 to 50 when it's all said and done. And those are players that were recruited to play 1AA football or FCS football, and you're moving up a classification. So, it takes a while to upgrade your roster.
Yeah. And you guys got a new stadium expansion. You're in a new league. You're having a good year. I mean, what can a good finish do to just kind of maintain that momentum just for the whole program, you think?
Well, it does a lot. Our administration's been great, and their vision for what to do and how to do this, and their support has been excellent. And I think our success to this point reinforces what they've done, and anything that we can continue to put on top of this, I think, is just kind of maybe a little bit of bonus or additional pluses.
Yeah. And lastly, with ASU, you're coming up there on Saturday. Their offense has kind of morphed here in the last few weeks to more about a kind of quarterback-centered kind of run game. What's your take on kind of how they've evolved and what you'll see on Saturday night?
Well, I think you're right. You described it pretty well. They've kind of adjusted. A new coaching staff, they learn more about their players as the season goes on, and I think they've made adjustments that fit their people, and they're finding a way to move the football, and that's probably a strength of Brian Harson's, having gone through the Boise and Texas programs and things, that he's figured out how to do that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, Troy, and thank you, Coach. That's all the time we have for today. We do appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And if everyone stand by, I'll have Bobby Petrino of Western Kentucky on shortly. Please stand by.